Well, Theseus is one of those freaks of nature, born without fear. And not in a stupid way, not like I'm going to run into a wall and then do it again because I'm not scared of it. He just genuinely doesn't have that gut-churning sort of, bowel-loosening fear which people get.
I play Phaedra, the Greek oracle priestess, who has the gift of seeing the future. But it's not entirely a gift, it's kind of like a gift and a blessing and a curse. And she has this major decision to make to whether she keeps the gift or whether she goes for love being Theseus. And I guess she also forms the part of this core group that helps Theseus fight that ultimate battle against King Hyperion, along with Stavros and the monk and Draco. So I guess she becomes and forms a very inherent part of his life, not just in his mission to avenge his mother's death or to fight Hyperion, but also in his personal life. So yeah, it was a very interesting character to play.
Stavros is probably the most human of the team here, because he doesn't have any serious issues going on. He's constantly wants to get laid. He's very attracted to Frida's character, and I think it's as simple as, am I going to die alone, or am I going to go out with the pretty girl and a couple of these other dudes? And I think he chooses that plan. He's much more the Han Solo of the movie. He's a bit of a flirt. He's a bit of a thief. He's a bit suspect, but at the end of the day, I think he's a rogue warrior and comes through and teams up with Theseus to take down King Hyperion, And so I didn't really need to kind of get all deep and method with this one. It's more of a popcorn movie to me, but I feel like Tarsem really knew his vision and really knew what he wanted to make, and I think that's why there's some really explosive stuff we're going to just start seeing, I guess, as this thing gets closer to the release.
Well, it isn't particularly following any mythology to a T. We kind of made it up as we went. Originally, we started with thinking maybe it's Greek times with electricity. I was thinking it might be much more like Derek Jarman's movie, or started with, let's say, Baz Luhrmann doing Romeo and Juliet in Mexico. So as time went by, we kind of realized we could tick all the boxes if we kept it Greek. So just started to go towards Greek, but not really true to any mythology, not true to Theseus. Theseus never fought any gods, but I was interested in gods. I put them together and found the story I wanted to tell.
Excellent. And obviously we're here at Comic-Con. Everyone's talking about Henry. Could you talk about casting him in the role and what you saw in his performance?
We didn't really have a script about a year ago, and I just went on. I was meeting guys, and I met Henry, and I asked him to read a scene, and he read it, and it was perfect. And I told him it was wrong. I told him read it another way. He read it that way, and told him that was wrong. Come back to where you were. He went there, and I just said, okay, this guy can act. If I find a script, no matter how much I change it, he'll do it. So we started writing the script, and a year later, got him in.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Henry. Let's be honest. We, again, like 300, had a cast no one knew, and we believed in the talent. And Tarsem in the studio, Tucker and Ryan believed in the talent, and we stood by them. And now it's very satisfying because they're all emerging as stars.
Oh, Henry's such an amazing actor. I mean, he has the ultimate levels of dedication and commitment. I do not think I can think of a single day where he came late on set, because knowing that he had the earliest call and the last one to leave the set, he was still always on time. So I think it's nice to have actors out there who take what they do so very seriously, and that's why I feel they deserve all the praise and accolades that come their way. And he truly deserves to be Superman. It was in the post, so he got it.
Can you talk about adapting the mythology, what you wanted to keep in, what you wanted to make original, that kind of thing?
Well, I think we really didn't think of the mythology. We just took the basic protagonist of the Greek mythology, which is part of our world, of our planet, from when we started to, exist. So I think everything is original, everything is new, and on top of that, Tarsem came, and as a filmmaker, we all know it's super original, so I really didn't want to do the same movie that we're used to see with all the gods, with the Thunderbolt, so I think that the audience, that's actually the part that I like the most, surprising the audience. The audience is going to see a movie about gods that they've never seen before.
And how is your Zeus different from maybe other Zeuses we've seen in film before?
Well, it's different purely for the fact that it's me. I'm completely different to everybody else. I'm younger than everybody else that's ever played the role on film. It's always been traditionally cast as an older role, but Tarsem always wanted to have the gods their prime age and health and, you know, looking fit and being able to do action and fight sequences, because in the movie the gods are very active and they end up having to fight on Earth and use all their skills. So that's the biggest change, I think, is in the character and what you'd usually expect from Zeus.
Were you excited for the role, and what did you bring to it that makes it different than other Greek gods we've seen before?
I've always wanted to play a Greek god. I love mythology. I read a lot about it, and I just think they're cool. How everyone builds statues of them, and they're just gods of everything: war, love, the sea, as my character is. And Poseidon in this movie, it's so original. The screenplay is so original. Us gods were younger. I mean, if you were a god, wouldn't you want to be young and agile? And my Poseidon, I took some of Emmett from Twilight into Poseidon. Emmett's the happy-go-lucky teddy bear. Poseidon's a happy-go-lucky uncle. He likes to intervene, and he can intervene when Zeus says not to, because the sea is his domain. So I can go for a swim, create a tidal wave, tsunami, and help Theseus out.
What's it like playing Henry's dad?
Well, you know, I care about my son.
There's a lot of visual effects in this film, and obviously Tarzan, you talked about what a visionary director he is, and you know he's known for his visual effects. Was it more visual effects than you've worked with before? And could you talk about kind of?
I mean, actually, shooting was pretty, you know, it was pretty grounded, and there were sets, so we had real sets, even though the green screen was behind them, and you know, and we pretty much, you know, felt real, you know, and all the visual stuff that's coming in later is just kind of more of a pleasant surprise, you know. And so this is kind of a movie I'm looking forward to seeing, because I don't know what it's going to look like, you know.
Immortals is a lot of green screen and a lot of visual effects and special effects. Yeah, definitely the most I've ever worked with. And that's why it's really exciting to see how the world was turned into the Immortals world when all you had was green screen behind you. You had this set that's already beautiful, but then to see it enhanced 10 times with all the special effects, it was really great. And that's what Tarsem's known for. He's just stunning with that.
It's nice to have Tarsem's unique vision on this film, because I think it's been done over and over again, the whole Greek epic, and it was time to see something different. And what is great about the way Tarsem has dealt with it is he was not confined by any book or anyone's interpretation. It was all his. So that gives you that freedom to go out there and also contribute. You know, I could go up to him and say, can Phaedra do this? Because I think Phaedra would feel this in this scene, and when our terms are not dictated by, you know, a book on mythology. So that's just, it's amazing. It's liberating for an actor to be able to do that. Very freeing. And as far as Tarsem's vision is concerned, I think he unlocks his imagination. He's got childlike imagination, and he unlocks it, and he can so very, you know, beautifully describe it to you what you want, but you'll still never probably get the full measure of it till you see it in a film. And then you're like, oh my God, now I understand how big that cliff was. When you said scream, I never really understood, but now I see it, completely makes sense.
It's a blessing to make a goal. And one of my goals was to work with Tarsem. I fell in love with The Fall, fell in love with The Cell. He's just a brilliant mastermind director. And to actually get a role in a movie that he's doing, that I get to work with Mickey Rourke and Henry and Luke and Frida and Isabel, like all these amazing actors and actresses, and then to play Poseidon also, it's very lucky. And then to work with Tarsem, get to know him. He's one of the most funniest people I've ever met in my life. And the coolest, most easygoing director. He'll be like, in your own time. And as an actor, you can take your own time to act, and they just roll cameras, and you can just be in the moment and go. It's really nice for an actor. He's just brilliant. I mean, the sets that he's created, and I don't know, it was really a blessing. I hope I get to work with him again.
He's not the kind of guy who lets his job get in the way of anyone else's job. He'll do his thing very quietly on the side, and it won't affect you, which is fantastic, because as an actor, the last thing you want is distraction. Say, no, you can't stand here, you can't stand there, you've got to move in this line and that line and not that line. So he was a wonder to work with, a true wonder, yet he's made something spectacularly beautiful. And we were just a part of it. We didn't feel like that was the priority.
You're known for your visual effects and what you do in movies. Can you talk about how you're sort of pushing the envelope with this one? Was there anything new that you tried?
There is. I think basically I didn't want it to be. This has a lot of intimate scenes along with really big scenes, but it isn't so operatic as just all speeches, even though the trailer will just always put a speech in because it's all about come on guys kind of stuff. But intimate scenes are very difficult to shoot against green scenes. So I built all the sets so the actors could have a visceral experience with the objects and how they talk to each other. So all that stuff was not so green screen. It's only wide vistas and landscapes of people running on mountains falling, that's green screen. And that's completely CGI. All the other interactions with the people, it's real.
Well, you know, after 300, Johnny and I really were staying away from more mythology. And then these writers, the Parliamentarians brothers, came to Johnny, and they had an idea that he just thought was too good not to work on. And that's where it started from. So we happen to both love mythology and history. So the beginning is the hard part. Right now, we're very happy.